Hello, my name is Steve Quinn. I'm the creator of the Fellow Child Project Man Spacecraft Design Concept. And so I'm going to PRISMA3D sucks big time. I've been using PRISMA3D since 2018, 2019. So I have 26 years or 27 years of experience with PRISMA3D. I worked on this a little bit earlier today. I changed out the armor plating. I added the graphics to the armor plating. Who got highlighted? Oh, the hull got highlighted. Yeah, that's one of the things about this Prisma version 3 has better GUI setup than version 2. And version 2 GUI setup is the same thing as the version 1, but then made some improvements. Version 1 was a piece of crap, big time. But with version 2, you can organize. Yeah, that got highlighted. This was happening in version 1. But yeah, that's the default. So when I went to, I created a new, I created two new materials. This is let's get out of this one, click that, and that's S1C stage. Now we're going to stage center. Oh, listen, how many objects I have here? This is a very long list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These times 1. These times 2. Get out of there. Stop that. Now this was doing this earlier today. No, I do not want that. These times 2. TR bottom. These times 3. These times 4. These times 5. These times. Okay, actually, I want to go here. Oh, these times 6. These times 7. These times 8. These times 9. These times 10. That's 100. These times 11. These times 12. These times 13. These times 14. These times 15. These times 16. These times 17. These times 18. These times 18. That's 183 objects that I have. Models. This project has 183. And I'm going to be making another 100 models. Let's get all this. Because what I'm going to do, what I want to do with this project is, where is, oh great, I lost it. I want to create frame structures. I need to do that because otherwise this thing gets in the way. Okay, so I want to create frame structures along the spacecraft. Okay, so that's going to be pain in her rear big time. Okay, so the problem with, so let's go over here. Okay, yay. Get all that. There we go. Frame. Armor frame. So, this is the default. Not the. This is the prototype model. The base model that I used to create all these other stuff up here. Okay, my brain's going bye-bye. My ability to do the file chart part is going to be gone in another 10 years. I'm 60 years old. Okay, so go here, unhide. This is fucked up. Hello, here we are. Unhide that. Now, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. Okay, I create a new object. Let's create a new object. Just to make a point. Sometimes, not all the time, it's inconsistent, but sometimes when you create a model, it hooks up to the first list model on the list. So when you decide to scale this critter or change the material of this critter, you end up also making changes to object number 1. Now, the very first object I created that I create for this project is the these are the first, this is the very first, these are the first two models that I created. So they should be on top of the list here. But they're not, because I created another model and I got linked to these things and I did not know there were links, and so I changed the numbers and stuff, the scale values, and the scale values don't stick. So when I realized, oh, these got morphed wrong, I couldn't go back and change these to the proper values, so I had to delete these original models and create new ones. Now they're not on top of this. And in version 3, unlike version 2, I cannot take this and reorganize down here. With anything, it's going to model. So, for example, I cannot rearrange this. Say I want top, right, bottom, left, top, left, bottom, right. I can't rearrange these guys. And so if I was, and these guys are grouped, are meant to be grouped in certain ways. And when I created, so like I said, this is the model hall is, there we go. Hide that. Now, to prevent the model from going hide like that, okay, model hall again, highlight that, hide that. So this is the original. So what I did, I create the S1C stage, and I put the engine nozzles, the F1 engine nozzles on here. Then what I did is I go here, copy, and then place, and then rename, and so I put all these guys up here. Once I got done with that, well, actually I did one model, and then I said, oh, I need to reposition these guys. So I created another okay, so this one's okay. So I created this, unhide that. Oh no, what the crick? Okay. Unhide that, there we go. So I created this frame here so I can properly space out the engines, the stages, the F1C stages from each other. And I end up with that pattern here. Let's go over here. So now you can see how these guys are properly staged, separated out. And so I started positioning all these guys like that. And then I realized that I had to do the transparency. No, that's the model hall. This is the center stage. So I saw how the yeah. So I looked at the numbers and I copied the numbers and just did the spacing. Then once I got oh okay, so I got the center stages done. Then I went to the nozzle. I've got I think I got a video of how to do this. But so now, this is the, that's that guy. Okay, that's the right center, and that's this. Outside center right frame. Okay. Unhide that. So that's what that is. And so I did that. So I got all these made. And then I started doing these other stages on here, and I created the outside stages for these. I cannot, with version 3, reorganize any of these lists. I could not, prior to, once I got all these center stages done, reorganize these into, move these over here so they're all represented in one group. I cannot create bullshit. Okay, I cannot group this list, everything that's on here in one thing. I cannot create a text and then position that text to represent each grouping. If I wanted to do that, I had to create the text and delete objects, copy objects, and then delete the old objects in order to reposition everything. And if I was accidentally destroy, if I, like this text, it's all disorganized. The whole thing gets disorganized. I have to redo the entire process. So, the main hall is hiding right now. Okay, so this is what one human deck would look like. The interior volume of a habitation, the habitation deck of the model. And now that's assuming, because the Yamato is a colony spacecraft design, you're going to be transporting vehicles like the the Caterpillar construction graders, dump trucks, you know, bulldozers, and I don't know what you call those vehicles that have that flatten out the road. So you're going to need vehicles, construction vehicles, to build settlements on Mars. So those vehicles are going to need deck spaces of 20 feet height. So how many, and then also you got construction materials that going to also need 20 feet in height also, or more. So you can look, some decks may be 40 feet in height, some decks may be 20 feet in height. Who knows? Okay. Depends on, let's see here. Let's bring on that's the, we want to unhide the transparent mode. Oh, unhide that. That's how you get that done. Yeah. So this is all for human habitation, and your personal, the stuff that you're going colonists are going to bring, their personal possessions, their housing materials, the construction equipment like the bulldozers, graders, and dump trucks that are going to be needed to, those diggers, and you're going to have to bring all that stuff, happy stuff. So that's what this volume is for. And this is just the basic. Now, this is not meant to be the model. The remodel series is not meant to be the design model for the Mars colonizer. This is just speculation. People are saying, if we're going to go to Mars, we need to have zero gravity technology that needs to be put onto the spacecraft. And that, that's going to have to be fitted out here somewhere. And so that design concept, how you're going to, that's, there's other considerations that need to go into this. But right now, I'm just doing the basic. We're dealing with a spacecraft that's comparable to, Starship Enterprise. That's comparable to Battlestar Galactica. That's comparable to the SDF-1. That's comparable to the Imperial Star Cruisers. Okay? And volume and displacement and stuff. And we do not have the science and the technology and the protocols create spaceship designs of that size, of that complexity, which is needed for colonizing Mars. So the Flower Child Project is about the sciences, technologies, researching the sciences, technologies, protocols that goes from the Apollo CSM LM spacecraft design that put humans on the moon to something like Space Battleship Remodel in size. And so that's what this is about. That's what the Flower Child Project is about. And like I said, And within my the flower chart project itself, documentations that I've made, since my computer system got crapped out in 2018, I have not been able to work on the flower chart project anymore, the text documents, and I don't have a 3D app to create images for those text documents. I've been using not Prisma, 3D CDI graphics like Blender. Blender 3D was not working for me as far as the flower chart project. PRISMA3D definitely does not work for me because look at that. You can't, that's, for a presentation, this is bullshit. This is not adequate for the flower chart project at all. But because I don't have a computer system, I am limited to doing this BS. And I'm just dabbling. So, okay, well, and like I said, PRISMA3D is a 1-star app. You go on and you look at all, now there may be 2 or 3. I gave it a 2-star or 3-star. But I got like 10 different comments, reviews on since 2018, 2019. All of them are 1-star apps. 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. Okay, so, okay. New project. It's the pyramids are going to get knocked out anyways. Okay. Delete. You can't start out with a text, so you got it, And version 2 and version 1, the first thing your first model could be a text model. And version 3, your first model has to be an object. It has to be one of these, one of those shapes. So, we need to change the font. Global modal mode. We need to change the text. Okay, we're going to do that right now. We're going to rename the text. Project name text. There we go. We're going to change the coloring on that. Okay. Do that. Alright, we'll get all that. Okay. Now what I was doing is giving myself time to figure out what to name this project. So I just figured it out. Flower Child Project Yamato Framework. Now you got to do all of this. Oops. You got to watch how I miss stuff. So now I'm going to scale it because If you don't delete the entire number, you're going to end up having to do math. Wait, come on, get in there. You're going to have to do mathematical addition, subtraction, so to get the right size. And that is a pain in the rear. Especially when the numbers don't stick. And we're going to go down to negative 100. Move that. Well, negative 110. Because it's 10 high and 100. So, and then, but then, now I can change it so it can be on top, but I'm not going to do that. Let's, nope, minus 110. Nope, wrong number. There we go. Go to new model, text, renaming that. Even though the values don't stick, I'm a draftsman, not a CGI artist. So, by training, I'm not degreed. I got 3 years of high school technical drafting training. I have some collegiate architectural drafting training. I'm a I'm a high school graduate. I'm a collegiate flunky. I have trade school architectural drafting training. I'm a trade school flunky. So, I'm not an aerospace engineer. I'm not. My dad was a hydraulic engineer. Oh God. And I'm not a rocket scientist or anything like that. I'm a nobody. Okay, rename. Okay, that's renamed. Okay, scale. Now, in version 2, you can have very long text. In version 3, the text is too short. I kind of abused the text length on the version 2. But it needs to be a little bit longer. Scale 1 equals 1 foot. Oh, okay, change the font. Let's go with bold again. And, okay, so that works. Now we scale that. If you do scale first and then try to do these numbers, it'll revert back to the default, and then if you try to change it, bad things happen. You have to delete the text and start it from scratch. So last thing you do on when you're creating text models in version 3 is scaling. On model, that's 120. There we go. So what this means, everything I'm creating Senator. Now I just created Senator. Now I went to the model. If I, if it wasn't, it was, that's bullshit. I should go straight to the cylinder. I said 90. Okay. Now, the flower chart project we modeled is not as a theoretical, is an exercise in theoretics. It's not meant to be a, the ultimate goal of the flower chart project. It's just I'm just dabbling. It's a concept of, it's a mental exercise. The other stuff is about the flower chart project itself is a mental exercise, because I can't do the project. I can't go to NASA and say, can you help me with this? I want to create this project. Can you help me make this and establish, get wherever, and actually work on the project? That was never my reality. And I created a concept back in 1985. I was a high school graduate. I had graduated from high school when I created a flower chart project. I was a high school graduate when I created a flower chart project. And even at that time, I did not have the mathematics and to deal with this project. And so, for me, the flower chart project was never about me establishing Aquarium's laboratory as a real life science labs facility and doing what Elon Musk with SpaceX. Okay, that was never my reality. So what I could do was my idea with the flower chart project was it was twofold. The flower chart project was a response to the news interview that Buzz Aldrin had concerning Mars Directive 1.0, in which the substitute news anchor said, Buzz Aldrin wants you to colonize Mars. No, Buzz Aldrin does not want us to colonize Mars. Buzz Aldrin was wanting us to create a manned space program, manned Mars program, to, to get to Mars. And he says we could do it in 2020 if we pursued the project like we pursued the Mercury, Gemini, Apollo program. Personally, I'm not concerned about historical firsts and stuff, which is what the Mars Direct was about. The flower chart project is a slow boat to China as far as Mars Direct is concerned, and whatever NASA is trying to do. And it's slow boat compared to what Elon Musk wants to do. So the flower chart project was one, a conversation for the U.S. news agencies saying this is what it's going to take to get, this is the sciences, technologies, and protocols that needs to be researched and developed for Earth humans to establish a permanent colony on Mars. The other thing is, the other thing that Flower Chart Project was about is, to me, set up a, this is what my concept of what we can do to get to Mars. What do you think? This is science take on, what do you think? And is this viable? Is this, you know? So, the 2004 presentation for the handouts was an incomplete concept of the flower chart project. It only featured how flower child, the prototype series, which differed from the Apollo CSM-LM spacecraft design. The flower child was supposed to be an orbit-to-orbit only spacecraft design that was constructed in Earth's orbit, the way the ISS was constructed in Earth's orbit. But it's designed to go to the moon and back, you know, dock at the ISS, and launch from ISS, go to the moon, do its thing at the moon, and then come back and dock at the space station. The Flower Child series is not about Earth launching into, you know, Earth orbit and then going to think which is what the Nova rocket does. So that's, you know, back in 85 and 86, when I was thinking about, is this a legitimate program? I genuinely believed that the Flower Child project was a continuation of the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo programs. And I have described it as such even in my 2004 presentation for it. In 1992-1993, I was a member of the Planetary Society, had one year membership. And I told them, I got accepted because of my Flower Child project presentation. I talked to them about the Flower Child project, and then they started they started complaining about University of Nebraska electing Apollo Capsule 009, and they made a petition. You need to, I guess, University of Nebraska. I did not join that petition, but I wrote to University of Nebraska, again trying to get information on Capsule 009 for my Flower Child project. And from there, I was directed to NASA, and I got information from NASA. So in 93, I saw, okay, this is not going to work out the way I thought it was. And so in the 1990s, I spent time modifying, creating a habitation module design that would fit within the STS Space Shuttle program, knowing that it's not going to happen. But the purpose was, this is how the habitation module design can change over time. This is how the habitation module mission roles can be changed within, you know, you can change, you know, it can be adopted for multiple different mission roles. So the 2004 presentation for it did have the 1990s as what I call the SC Flower Child Project STS FCP STS habitation module designs. And so, but that's the only thing that extended beyond the basic concept. And the Flower Child project itself went from, you had the Flower Child static series, which is how what's needed to change the policy ICM LM to the SCS, the Flower Child project Flower Child, and then go from the Flower Child to Earth Child, which is Earth orbital spacecraft designs, to the Lunar Child, which is an Earth Luna transorbital spacecraft designs, orbit to orbit, lunar Earth Luna orbit to orbit only spacecraft designs. And then using the Flower Child, the Lunar Child series for researching and developing the Mars Child series. The Mars Child would be from Earth orbit to Mars orbit, and that's what the Flower Child Yamato is. It's a Mars Child spacecraft design. But what is that Mars Child series going to look like? You need the Flower Child, you need the Earth Child, you need the Lunar Child series to research and develop that. How do you get the Lunar Child series? You go with the Earth Child series. You go with the Flower Child static series. So that's then for me, because I'm not an aerospace engineer, that's the process I would have to go through to do the Flower Child project. So then in 2004, after the handouts, I realized I can't do this because I needed 3D graphics and like AutoCAD, 3D version of AutoCAD. I had DeltaCAD 3.0. I had KeyCAD. Oh, KeyCAD was a click and drag. Gosh, that was a pain in the rear. Back in those days, I did not have the click and drag skills. And so KeyCAD was like, DeltaCAD 3.0 was kind of pain in the rear, but KeyCAD was even worse. So I stuck with DeltaCAD 3.0. But yeah, I need a 3D app, computer-aided drafting app. And then in 2014, so my Flower Child project was on hold. In 2014, my brother introduced me to Blender 3D. He was using that for his church projects and graphics and stuff. So and then 2015, I dabbled with that in 2014, October, November, December. And then January, I decided I'm going to see how this, how this compares with the DeltaCAD. So I did some. I converted some of my DeltaCAD draw. I used Blender 3D to recreate the DeltaCAD 3 drawings. And then in 2016, I came to the realization that the 2004 presentation folder format needed to be changed altogether. And so I came up with the Flower Child project presentation for the year 2020 AD. The 2020 AD is in reference to Buzz Aldrin's "We Can Get to Mars in 2020 AD." And 20 is not a reference to, oh, I'm going to be done by this project. I'm going to be finished this project in 2020 AD. No, that's this is what the Flower Child project is going to look like in 2020 AD. No. So, and then when I started doing when I came up with that, I came to the realization that there's a lot of BS that I personally have to deal with in order to create the presentation folder. That I got to get out, I have to create additional text documents to read out the bullshit from the important stuff in the presentation folder, year 2020 AD. So I ended up with like a half dozen different text documents. And I was using Blender 3D to create images for those text documents. And then 2018, Blender changed out, 2017, 2018, Blender changed out its mechanics a little bit, especially its transparency mechanics, and which resulted I had to relearn the PRISMA3D, Blender 3D from scratch, and I never really liked Blender 3D. Blender 3D was a metric system and could not handle the 4-digit plus 4 whole digit numbers plus the 7 decimal digit places that is needed for the flower chart project. So Blender was, only went 3 digits. And it's like, okay. So was never really that great with, as I mentioned that on my Facebook page and my computer, and then I also said that I came to the realization that the half dozen text documents that I'm doing could probably be, once I'm done with them, could be rewritten into one text document, reorganized into one, and I mentioned all that, and then my computer system went kaput, and so I have not been. My printer system went out. My computer system went out. My printer system went out, and so I haven't had a computer printer system since 2018. And about 6 months after my computer printer system went out, I started using PRISMA3D. So either in 2018, and that was in 2018. So maybe in later half of 2018, I started PRISMA3D, or maybe early in 2019. I'm not exactly sure the time frame. So I've been using PRISMA3D since then. So for 27 years, I've been using PRISMA3D. So, okay. So I use different values for the Yamato, the flower child project Yamato. Most of the time I use the numbers based on the real life World War II Japanese Yamato Hall, which the numbers I use for that is length being 50-foot freeboard. Actually, the Yamato had 48-foot freeboard, and then the draft fluctuated between 36 feet and 38 feet. Depending what numbers you use, what sources you're using. So I use a 38 feet number. So the freeboard plus draft is 88 feet deep. So that's the numbers I use most often. There is a few versions where I have the 35-foot draft, 35-foot freeboard numbers. There are sometimes I use the original Star Blazers. I looked at the original Star Blazers. I grew up on the original Star Blazers, and based on what I remember from seeing on that, I'm thinking that the engine nozzle, main engine nozzle, is between 50 feet length and 100 feet length, and so the bow is also 50 feet longer, between 50 feet and 100 feet longer than the original Yamato. So the original Star Blazer model, this is based on visual, is between 100 feet and 200 feet longer than the real life battleship model. So you're looking at 860 feet length. So 960 feet length to 1,000 feet length. Wait, yeah, 1,063 foot length. So some models I have like 111 feet length, 200 feet beam, and 100 feet deep measurements. And so I use different numbers for the volume for the model hall. But the most common values I use is 806 feet length, 88 feet deep, and 120 feet beam. So that's the scale I'm going to be using for this. 863. Check that. Let's check this a little bit. X, that'll be, so rotate, so X would be 88. Forgot to back out. And then the beam is 128. And there you go. Now, you name that. FCP Yamato Hall Volume. And back up. Material. New material. Transparent. .5. This is wrong. The ends, how they do the ends is wrong on that. So there are actually what I can do how do I want to do this? There's several things I can do with this. Let's get the solid one. There are several things I can do with this. I can say that this volume is the interior volume. The habitation volume of the spacecraft, and then create frameworks around that. And expand that. Or I can say that's 1. 2, I can say this is the skin area, the outside skin area, and the skin is going to be 1 feet thick. Or the skin and frame, and so version 2 is what I've normally been doing is this is the outer frame structure, which includes frame and skin, which is going to be 1 foot thick, and then the interior is 2 feet shorter than the volumes of the exterior. That's version 2, which is what I've been using for the past 20 years. Actually, File Chart Project is 40 years old. 40 years. Oh, wow, that's 40 years. So what I've been doing for the past 40 years. Or I can do, say, that this outer is 1 foot thick, and then the framework inside there is another 1 foot thick, and then the interior is what's left. So you minus 4 feet. The interior space would be minus 4 feet from the external dimensions. And I think I'm going to do that. So I did not want to play with the text mine. I always want to play with that. We're going to do that. We're going to create another hall. Now, pardon-moi, I'm yawning. Now, I have already established that the entire length is not going to be the habitational. I've already established that there's a portion here is going to be propulsion systems. And the propulsion structure is going to take dominance over this area here. Portion of the hull. Well, what I'm going to do, okay, did I create a new, yeah, I got it, okay. Rename that. FCP Yamato, oops. Habitation volume. So this got to be moved. That's 100. I'm going to move another 100. Okay, scale that. $863 divided by subtract 4 is 859. $88 subtract 4 is 84. $128 subtract 4 is 124. Rotate that. Oops. And move that to 200. Now we can fix this exterior mess by doing this. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah. Now you see how that exterior volume is not messed up. You see how the the transparency graphics, the transparent model graphics is messed up. Okay. So now I'm going to do the cube. Okay, we're going to. Okay. Rename that. Exterior frame exterior spar frame, I guess. Now, so that's okay. Yeah, the length is going to be 162. Subtract 2. 863 subtract 2 is 861. Nope, wrong direction. Change the material. We're going to add a new one. Color. Simplify the coding. We're going to create another coding. FED. Let's try these. Right. Okay, that's close enough. Okay. And we're going to change it to that. And then what we're going to do, we're going to change that. Okay. Cutter. We're going to create a transparent version. And this is something I created earlier today. And we're not going to do that. We're going to do that. Model hall volume. And we're going to use this transparent mode. And if you want, you can change it to this mode here to represent the armor. This is the opaque armor. And this is the transparent armor. So, move that to 100. Correction 200. Let's see what that looks like. Now, if the number is wrong, if I'm using the wrong numbers for this, then I'm going to have to delete that object. You see now, what numbers did I use for the spar? I don't know. I did not write it down. So I I can't do the number change. I'm gonna I'm gonna have to delete that and create another one from scratch. Wait a minute. Undo that. We can do. I do not want you. I want you. Use this model. Okay. I do not want you. I want you. That should be shorter, not longer. The model hull is the maximum length that we're playing with. $80 feet. Okay, we're going to move that to 44. No. Alright. Like that. Scale that, scale that. Yeah, it's cute. That's correct. Okay. Move. Okay, so we need to go down to one to be flush and one to be inside the frame. 2, 4, 2, and that is the yeah, we're gonna go 0.5, I guess. Okay. Now, we need to show them what we're playing with. Nope, I'm not playing with you. I'm playing with you. Okay, rename that. Child Project. Yamato exterior. Now once I start putting the propulsion systems in here, no. God damn. I gotta use text. I gotta create text models. 30 years, wait, 26 years of habits. Okay, I'm going to have to create a text. Okay. So how are we going to deal with this? Difference between professional and amateurs. Professionals have a list of paperwork of exactly what they're going to do. before they even start going on the computer. So text model. Nope, not that text model. This one. Rename it. No. Move it to -130. Okay, and where's the light? No, where's the light? Copy. delete. In version 2, all I had to do was take that and just move it down here and it'll be okay. But version 3, I have to copy and delete. Copy. Delete. And if I want to, I can put these into the model. I can join these into the one model. Yeah. Okay. Like that. Like that. Now what I can do, see, I'm thinking about, what I'm doing is I'm thinking about creating the armor structure. And as the exterior skin, and I'm thinking about the propulsion system and how that's going to have to change. And oh, no wonder right there. Okay. The camera scaled up on me. Okay. So the Yamato Hall volume, and I'm Yamato Hall volume. Is basics. Okay. So I need a new another. I'm going to do is I need that. FCP Yamato outer skin. Oh, wait a minute. So we're going to use the darker one. $863. 88. 28. Recording them all. Take 90. $863.01. That's where now, as a draftsman, I need to be able to go back and say, okay, it's not 86. Okay. Mm. Okay, got that. Scale that. Okay, that's good. 88 subtract 2 is 86. 128 subtract 2, 126. Inside that. Nope, 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 no, 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 no. Since we cannot, since this numbers don't stick, I cannot use this as a measuring object, meaning I can't reshape this sphere to different shapes and save it for other project, for other things. This is a temporary thing that has to be destroyed. Okay. I'll go with that and delete that. Go to model. That way you don't mess anything up. Delete that. Go to model. Unhide that. Move that. 0. Model that. Now version 1, if I was trying to do this, it would be highlighting the other stuff. I'd be clicking on other things that would be on the cylinder, and I'd be hitting this. They'd be highlighting objects on the cylinder, and it's like, oh god, oops, I gotta do it again. Yes. And it's like, version 1 was really, really pathetic. Version 2 was an improvement. The GUI system was problematic. Skillet. But you can organize stuff. Delete. Oh. So, but, version 3 GUI system is pretty good. I like the GUI system. But version 2, you can scale that. You can, the organizational system is kind of messed up. There we go. Delete that. And the number stuck. The early version of version 2, the numbers did not stick. But the later versions, the numbers stuck. And you can have permanent things. And you can, so I can, this module, this cylinder, I can resize it to the actual, I can make it back to 8,863, and then say, okay, this is now the interior. But because I can't do that in version 3, I have to delete this object and create a new interior object. So I need to do that. Oh, wait a minute! I gotta get out. I gotta get out of this one. I said cylinder. Oops. I got highlighted. Delete it. Now I need to create a new cylinder. Rotate it 90 degrees. Scale it. Yeah, yeah, yes, I did it. I'm doing it right. It's only 6 feet long. No, 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 no. No, yeah, that's correct. 860, yeah, this is the, I'm closing this up. So that's 86. That's 126. Change the material for that. The armor. Oops, gotta go there. And then we go numbers. And then we're going. Delete that. Do all that. Go there. Delete that. Go on that one. Okay, let's look at what I got here. Okay, we need to rename that exterior. Rename that interior. Actually, hall. I need to rename that hall because I'm gonna have to put an armor structure on the bow, an armor structure on the stern. Although the armor structure on the stern is going to have to be removed because of the propulsion systems. Cylinder. Oh. And then outer scan. Outer hull skin, outer bow skin, outer, yeah. Okay, we're going to have to move these guys out of the way. Move it. 200. I said 200. 200. Now, unhide that. There's the frame, spar frame. Unhide that. Change the material to that. Oh, this one. Okay, let's do that. Let's modify this nut coating. Done. Now I can see it better. Okay. And then same with C's. Oh. I lost it. That's good. And then we go to transparency. Okay, that's correct. That's correct. And then what is this? Oh, you're the armor. Okay. Now let's go there. So that is 1 foot. That's correct. 86. You know, big time. $126. Rotate. 90. Okay. Alright. Now. Monohull ball. Okay. Excuse me. I don't have to do interior exterior because that's one solid piece. So we go with, and then FCP Yamato skin. Outer hull. Okay. Ball skin. Move it to 200. 863 divided by 2, 430 is for starters. Whoops. Okay, x, okay, minus 400. 30 for starters. 63, 1.5. Minus 431.5. Yeah, okay. So now if we want to see the frame, or we can do this. Interior, change that to opaque, transparent, I mean. And then do the interior, transparent. And then just get the rotation of them. Oh, that's the interior, okay. Let's make that transparent. Then we can do the decks. Okay, so okay. Then we create so that is the model hall structure. Now we can do the, okay, let's do the nope. I'm on right. Rename. Yamato. Okay. What? I think I was still on. Wait. Okay, let's rename it. Okay. Okay. What's going on here? So where is the... Okay, it's laggy. Where's my video? Nope. Okay. Well, that crashed. So that's it for this video.